Hello and welcome to my review of the Adeptus Mechanicus Tech-Priest Enginseer, and this model will set you back £20. Now, I did do a review of this Tech-Priest about a year ago, June of 2019, but I thought I'd do another review now because I've actually received him in the £60 start collecting set for Adeptus Mechanicus, and thought it would be a good idea to do a review separately and compare him to some of the newer models that have just come out for Mechanicus. As always, we'll have a close look at the miniature itself, we'll go through some size comparisons, and then we'll talk about all of its rules. So it's a lovely little model. As I say, it's £20 on Games Workshop's website. You can still get, it's temporary out of stock, the £10 Tech-Priest engines. I think it's the metal one. That's still quite a funky looking miniature. But yeah, this model did come out a number of years ago, and I think it was originally released alongside Astra Militarum new releases, and then eventually they brought it over to Adeptus Mechanicus, because before we only had the Data Smith and the Tech-Priest Dominus. Now we have this guy, and we have a Tech-Priest Manipulus as well, as Belisarius call. But yeah, lovely little miniature, nice HQ to lead your forces. Works really well if you've got a full Mechanicus army of Skitarii Rangers, because it's got the hood and the bionics. It's got this axe and a servo harness and a servo skull as well, and a load of cabling and wires. Not really any mechadendrites as such. Maybe a couple of those are, but yeah, it's quite a simple basic model. You'll put them together really quite easily and quickly. Just got to be careful of this. I mean, it's not that fragile, but yeah, I'd just be careful of it. So yeah, really cool little model, but it might not be as Mechanicus as you like, so it might be worth picking up the Dominus or Manipulus, which we're going to have a look at right now. There's no spare parts for the model at all, so let's just do some size comparisons. Let's just compare it to his HQ brethren first of all. So we've got a Tech-Priest Dominus there on the right and a Tech-Priest Manipulus. They're a similar size, I guess. The Dominus is a little bit taller but thinner, and yeah, the Enginseer just sits at kind of like Skitarii level, a bit taller than Skitarii, a bit bulkier than your normal Ranger. But definitely the smallest HQ choice out of the Mechanicus range. Compared to one of the newer models, which is the Sulphur Hound, I've got one here. He is a little bit smaller in total, only a little bit, but yeah, in terms of like an infantry model, goes up to the knees of the Skitarii there. And finally, I just want to compare him to a Scorpius Disintegrator, one of the main battle tanks for Adeptus Mechanicus, and he would go really well coming off of the ramp along with the other Rangers. This isn't the Scorpius from the start collecting set. This is just an additional one that I purchased myself, but that gives you some idea of what they're going to look like. I just need to throw in some Rangers, and then you've got the whole start collecting set there. And then comparing him to the models I usually like to compare things to. So I've got the Legacy Space Marine on the left and a Primaris on the right. I think he's actually a little bit taller than a Space Marine. No, he's similar height, very similar height, probably a little bit shorter, just tiny amount, but then he's got the servo harness. But yeah, he is definitely smaller than a Primaris. And then compared to like an infantry model, even though Marbo's on a bit of a base, he is taller than Marbo. So there you go, that's how he kind of measures up. Let's talk about his rules, and we'll compare him to your other HQ choices in the book. So he's the cheapest HQ choice. He's a power points cost of 3 and a points cost of 40, making him pretty cheap. The Omniscient axe that he carries is free, and so is his last pistol, but the servo arm you're going to have to pay 12 points for, so that's 52 points if you wanted to take him for match play. Now, how does his stat line read? Well, he's a movement of 6 inches, but weapon skill and ballistic skill are both 4+, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 3+. I must say straight away now that he does have bionic, so it does give him a 6+ invulnerable save. It's an alright stat line. It won't set the world on fire. You know, ballistic skill and weapon skill are only 4+. That doesn't quite cut it for your normal HQ choices, which are at least 3+ or 2+. It's nice that he does have a toughness 4, which is 1 better than a normal ranger, and actually that's better than one of the Cerberus raiders too. He doesn't have many attacks with the only 2, but the leadership is good though. Comparing him to like the Dominus or the Manipulus, they have way better weapon skill than ballistic skills. They have 1 extra wound and more attacks and a better save of 2+. So you get what you pay for, your 50 points or so. You're getting alright HQ choice. Now he's equipped with the Omniscient Axe, las pistol and a servo arm. The las pistol is basically just a flashlight. It's a 12-inch range pistol 1, strength 3, AP 0 and damage 1 weapon. I wouldn't rely on it for taking out a Land Raider. The Omniscient Axe though does plus his strength by 1, so that's strength of 5, AP -2 and damage of 2. That's alright, but he's only got 2 attacks with it anyway, and with a weapon skill of 4+, he may not even connect with one of those attacks. The servo arm, however, does times his strength by 2, so he's going to get strength 8, AP -2 and a damage of 3. However, each servo arm can only be used to make 1 attack each time this model fights, so you're only getting 1 attack with that. So 2 attacks with the axe and 1 attack with this strength 8 weapon. When a model attacks with a weapon, you must subtract 1 from the hit roll, so even worse now. So that 1 attack, it's a 5+ to hit. Terrible. Abilities: Canticles of the Omnissiah, Bionics, which I mentioned gives him a 6+ invulnerable save, and then Master of Machines, which works exactly the same as both Belisarius Calls, Master of Machines rule and the Tech-Priest Dominus abilities. It goes on to say, at the end of your movement phase, this model can repair a single friendly Forge World vehicle, Astra Militarum vehicle or Questa Mechanicus model within 3 inches. If the model being repaired is a Forge World or Astra Militarum model, it regains D3 lost wounds. If it is a Questa Mechanicus model, it regains 1 lost wound. A model may not be the target of a Master of Machines ability more than once per turn. Pretty good though. You know, Forge World units within 3 inches, you get D3 wounds, but Questa Mechanicus, you regain 1 lost wound. So it's nice to go after your own units rather than the Questa Mechanicus. And all the Questa Mechanicus keywords is just the knights basically. So there you go, that is my review of the Tech-Priest Enginseer. He can be useful. The main reason you'd get him is to repair those lost wounds. You know, the ability to repair D3 lost wounds on vehicles and things like that. I mean, if you have him near the Scorpius or an Onega Dune Crawler or near the Castellan robots or something like that, that's really cool, you know, because he's going to be able to repair the wounds, and that's the main reason. You're not going to be taking him because he's full grim in combat or he's Perturabo in the shooting phase or anything like that. I wouldn't rely on his close combat weapons. They do give a bit of a sting, and he is a character, so he should have a higher chance of surviving against other ranged weapons, but there will be quite a few other HQs, basic standard HQs, that take him on and absolutely muller him in combat. That being said, your Tech-Priest Dominus or Manipulus would survive better closer to the enemy, firing with their weapons and their close combat weapons. So I would keep him back as a supporting role, as something that can assault any enemies that go to flank your rear units, so to speak, or units trying to attack your high points cost units such as your tanks and your dune crawlers and things like that. What do you guys think of the Enginseer? Do you never leave home without him? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Omnissiah protects.